up, it's Karen San Diego, and this is part 3 of my 3-part Q&A series. If you've already watched part 1 and 2, you know that I'm doing this 3-part Q&A series answering questions that I got from all of you. I got a lot of questions, so I broke the video up into 3 separate videos. This video is going to be focusing on all of the questions that you asked that pertained to post-op. So everything that happens once you've already gotten your surgery. If you haven't already watched part 1 and 2, make sure you go watch those. They'll be linked down in the description box so you can get all caught up. I did this Q&A series in honor of reaching my 10,000 subscriber goal, which I recently reached. If you look at the subscriber count, you can see that we are at 10,000 subscribers and counting. I am so grateful to have reached this milestone here on this channel, and I want to give a huge thank you to all of you who have been watching and supporting my videos. I would not be able to have grown in the way that I have if it wasn't for you. So before we get into this Q&A, I just want to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Skillshare is a great way to invest in yourself and your personal growth. Have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From learning how to film and edit your own YouTube videos to learning a new skill like how to make your own clothes. You can find classes that will match your skills and interests. Skillshare is ad-free, so you can stay in the zone while you're exploring new skills. New premium classes launch each week, so there's always something new to discover, and their entire catalog is now available in subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. I have been loving a class called Video Editing with Final Cut Pro for Beginners to YouTuber by creator Ali Abdal. This class does an amazing job at breaking down how to flawlessly edit YouTube videos using Final Cut Pro X, which is what I use to edit the video you're watching right now. This class does an amazing job at breaking it down for beginners, and since I did recently just upgrade from iMovie to Final Cut Pro, I definitely put myself in that category. If you're interested in using Skillshare to learn a new skill, make sure to go to the description box of this video, click that link. The first 1,000 people to sign up using my link will get 1 month free of Skillshare. Without further ado, let's get right to the Q&A. Alright, just like part 1 and 2, I have my questions here on my iPad, so let's get right into question number 1. Question number 1 says, at what point did you really start loving your body again and start to feel comfortable in your own skin? I think that is a great question because that is the whole point of this, right? We all want to get back to loving ourselves and feeling super confident in our bodies and all of that. And to me, that is the number 1 pro of getting this surgery is how good you will feel afterwards. However, the journey to self-love is not something that happens automatically after surgery. It takes a little while. For me, I'll say that it took me about, I want to say maybe 4 months to really start feeling really confident in my skin. And that was because at around 4 months post-op is when the weight loss got to a place where it was really noticeable. Not to say that before that there was no noticeable weight loss for me, because I definitely was starting to notice it in my face, in this area, my clothing sizes were going down. But I still, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I was still, prior to 4 months, having some difficulty seeing the weight loss. I think that's when the body dysmorphia was the craziest for me. But after 4 months, 4 or 5 months post-op is when I no longer could deny that I looked smaller. And that did something to me in which it just gave me this new confidence. A big part of that, I think, was the fact that at that point, I felt like I looked better in my clothes. I've always been a fashion girl. I've always loved fashion, but I've never felt comfortable in clothing. I was always the person who would try to hide my body in oversized clothing. And because of that, the entire time that I was at a heavier weight, I never really got to express myself as far as with my clothing in the way that I would have when I was at a smaller weight. And it was around that point when I started going shopping and started being able to pick up things that I genuinely thought was nice and not just was like, this is nice enough and will hide my body, which is how I had been shopping before. At that point, I started getting excited about shopping, excited about trying clothes on. I started to notice a difference in the way that people were treating me around that time. I started to just feel like a more beautiful person on the outside. And I hate saying that because I feel like that's me saying that I wasn't beautiful before that point. And while, yes, I was beautiful, I was always beautiful regardless of what size, but I didn't feel that way. Like, let's be real. Like, as much as I would love to say I was beautiful big and beautiful small, I didn't feel beautiful in my bigger body. And I'm really just grateful to that, around that 4-month mark, because that was when I really started to feel beautiful again in my new body. Yeah. So I would definitely say around 4 months is when I started to feel a difference. I think that's definitely going to be different depending on who you are and where you started off in your journey, what your goals are. I just think the closer you get to your goal, the more confident you're going to feel. And that's why I think it's important to set mini goals for yourself. So if you have a goal to get to 150 pounds or whatever your goal is, maybe set a goal where you're gonna, when you lose 100 pounds, when you lose 50 pounds, when you get to Wonderland, when you get under 200 pounds, like set multiple goals, because as you start accomplishing those smaller goals, it'll feel good and you'll feel really accomplished, and that will give you an ego boost as well. So my first goal was just to be under 200 pounds, and around 4 months, I still was over 200 pounds, but I started getting closer to that goal, and the closer I got to that goal of being under 200 pounds, the better I felt about myself for sure. Next question says, do you have any suggestions on how to take vitamins on a daily basis? And then there was a similar question that I looped in with this one that said, do you take any VSG vitamins or any other type of vitamins after surgery? Okay, so to answer that first question, how any suggestions on how to take vitamins on a daily basis? I would be a liar if I came on here and tried to give you suggestions about this, just because I don't take vitamins on a daily basis. I need to, and I would love to, but I simply just forget. I've gotten suggestions. You guys have given me suggestions. I tried putting them in a place that I know I'm gonna go every day. I tried putting them on my bathroom counter, my kitchen counter. It's in my kitchen cabinet right now, right next to my cups. And I drink coffee every single day, basically, or at least drink something out of a cup every single day. So I have it right there in a cabinet that I know I'm gonna go to every single day, and I still forget. So this is a question that I'm actually not gonna answer, because I would be somebody giving you advice on something that I did not do. So for this one, I'm gonna say see the comments. In the comments, if you know that you've been great about taking vitamins, give some advice for this person in the comments, because me and them need some help, because I can't give y'all advice on something that I am not doing. As far as what vitamins do I take, when I do remember to take my vitamins, I have 2 different vitamins that I do take right now. One vitamin that I take right now is a normal women's vitamin. I think it's by Centrum. I'll put it in my Amazon storefront in case you want to purchase it. That is one that my doctor suggested to me, because at first the bariatric vitamins were making me nauseous. They're doing construction outside, so I'm sorry if you keep hearing banging. At first, the bariatric vitamins were making me nauseous, so I couldn't take those, so I was taking that one. And I still take it now if I hadn't eaten a lot, just so I can avoid being nauseous. But when I'm good, I take Berry Life vitamins. Berry Life, BARILIFE vitamins. Those were sent to me, not sponsored by them, but they did give me a promo code for you guys if you want to shop using Berry Life. So I'll put that in the description box as well in case you want to purchase those vitamins. But those vitamins have been pretty good. I have not had any problem with them. I have not felt nauseous when taking them. They go down pretty smooth. They're big, but they don't, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they don't get stuck in my throat or anything like that. So I like them. So I've been mostly taking those, and sometimes I'll go back and take the Centrum. I also do calcium chews or calcium petites. And this basically goes based off how I'm feeling. The calcium petites, they say petites because they're a smaller pill, but they're not that small. It's still a pretty big pill. And I have those already linked in my Amazon storefront. So I either take the calcium pills, or sometimes I'll do the calcium chews. And I do the calcium chews when I want something sweet, because the ones I have are like caramel flavored, I think. And they're also from Berry Life. And they taste good. So I eat them as if it's a candy, and it's bonus because I'm getting some vitamins. And if I don't have a sweet tooth, I'll just take the pill form when I remember to take my vitamins. All right, next on the list, what has been the hardest or worst part of it so far? So what has been the hardest or the worst part of the VSG journey so far? And for this question, and honestly, thinking about what the worst part has been, I don't know if I count anything as like the worst part. By no means has this been like easy or anything for me. But I feel like I mentally prepared myself pretty well for things that would come, to where none of it like shocked me. Like, for example, in the beginning, like for the first week or so, dealing with the gas pains and all that kind of stuff, I was ready for it. So as like hard as it was, like the first 3 days, the gas pains were pretty intense. But I feel like it could have been worse. Like, I had a C-section. I still feel like my C-section was way worse than this. And also my tolerance for pain is really, really high. So I wouldn't even count the recovery time, the first week or so, to be something that was like the worst part, because I had surgery. So I was expecting recovery to be difficult because I had a surgery done. So I wouldn't say that was the worst part. I feel like that was pretty expected. I want to say the worst part for me is the body dysmorphia. Yeah. Because it's kind of difficult to know that you're changing so much, and to know that you are on such a better path and you're getting healthier and you're so much smaller, and to not see it and to still kind of feel in your brain like you're still that bigger person, to me was just like a complete like mind game that I just hated. And it was like, wow, like everyone's telling me how much I've lost and yet I'm not seeing it. And that was, like I said, something that was more so happening in the beginning. Like now I can see it. But even though I can see it now, sometimes I do still feel like I'm bigger. Like sometimes I'll still feel like I'm in my bigger body, and then I'll look in the mirror and get a reality check that I'm not. But in the beginning, I wasn't even seeing on my body that I was smaller. Like I was still struggling to look in the mirror and tell that I was losing weight. Even though my clothing was smaller, even though the scale said I was smaller, in the beginning, I definitely struggled with body dysmorphia and had a really hard time seeing it. And I think mentally that was the most difficult for me. Also, in the beginning, dealing with the stalls and things like that. Now, stalls don't bother me. Y'all know my theory. The scale is evil. I'm not concerned with stalls. I'm not concerned with what Miss Scale has to say. But in the beginning, I was very much concerned. Especially at like that 3-week stall point, because you're still recovering, and then you see the scales not moving, and it's like, what did I get myself into? I'm not losing weight. What am I doing? And all of those mind games were just not great for the mental health in the beginning. But I will say that that passes, and eventually, at least hopefully, you get to a point where you understand that it's part of the process and you just run with it. That did take a little while. So I would say that the mental aspects for me was the hardest part. And that's also why people suggest that you go to therapy continuously after surgery. I personally am not in therapy right now, but it is something that I'm looking into, because I think there's a lot of mental stuff that comes with losing a dramatic amount of weight that isn't necessarily addressed as much as it should be. So I am looking into therapy, and I'll give you an update if I find a therapist, and once that starts going, I'll let you know how that is. All right, next question. When did you or did you incorporate exercising after having VSG? I'm 6 weeks post-op and considering weightlifting 2 times a week and walking every day. It seems like there are mixed reviews on YouTube about waiting to lift or exercise or starting as soon as possible. Wondering if exercise hinders the rate of weight loss post-op, even though increasing muscle mass should increase metabolism. All right, so to answer this question, I have worked out since surgery. I have a video on my channel of me exercising, but I do not exercise often. I want to say since getting surgery, maybe I've been to the gym 4 times. Outside of going to the gym, I have done workouts in my house. I've done YouTube video workouts. I've done like the Apple Fitness workouts. And then I also I have a lot of stairs in my house. My house is like long. So sometimes I'll, for no reason at all, run up and down the stairs over and over again to get some cardio in. But as far as like going to the gym, I've only done that like 4 times. I think sometimes people get confused about working out in relation to weight loss. So, and before I give any advice on this, I just want to make it clear that I am not a doctor. If you have questions about this, consult your doctor, consult your nutritionist, talk to a personal trainer. I'm going based off of my research and my personal opinion. So, working out is not the end all be all when it comes to losing weight. Working out is something that you do to get stronger. Working out also can help improve your appearance by toning up your body in certain areas. But the key to weight loss, losing weight, is nutrition. So what you eat matters way more than working out when it comes to losing weight. So when I go to the gym, I'm not in the gym to lose weight faster or slower or whatever it is. I'm in the gym to make my body look better and to make my body stronger. That is what working out is for. Now, doing things like cardio can help burn calories, but when it comes to losing weight, you want to focus on what you're putting into your body. Your nutrition is what is going to cause you to lose weight. Working out is not or should not be looked at for weight loss. Now, with our bodies, as you lose weight, and especially when you're losing weight at the rate that we're losing weight, you can easily start to lose muscle mass by losing weight so fast. So going to the gym as you're losing weight can help you retain your muscle. It can help you bulk up. Bulking up can help you fill in some of the areas. Like for me, I have a lot of loose skin on my arms. If I go to the gym, it's not going to make my loose skin go away. It instead would help improve the appearance of my arms by filling in some of that loose skin with muscle, solid muscle. So that's going to make the loose skin look less bad. But let me just make sure I'm answering this question because I'm rambling. It says, wondering if exercise hinders the rate of weight loss post-op. Okay, to answer that question specifically, working out, I don't think it's going to hinder your weight loss unless you're talking about the scale specifically. So working out can cause the scale to go up because you're gaining muscle, and muscle is heavier than fat. But does that mean that you didn't lose fat still? No, your working out will help you lose fat while also gaining muscle. So the number on the scale may look like it's going up, but you're still losing weight. You're still losing fat while gaining weight, but that's muscle weight. So that's not bad weight. And this also goes into why I feel like we gotta get ourselves away from being so focused on what the scale says and get more focused on the non-scale victories. Because I would much rather have a heavier number on the scale, but physically look good and be more toned any day. So in that case, then I would recommend working out as early as possible. The number on the scale may not drop as dramatically as you would want it to during that time when you're working out like a lot, because you're gaining muscle. So if you're somebody who can handle the scale not moving for certain periods of time while you're building muscle, then fine. Focus, you can work out, build that muscle, build that muscle, you're burning fat, you're building muscle, and you're losing weight simultaneously. For me personally, the reason that I don't work out as much as, not to say that as much as I would want to, because I can work out if I want to. For me, I don't necessarily enjoy going to the gym frequently. So for me, part of getting the surgery was also kind of getting out of diet culture and getting out of having a toxic relationship with my body. So for me, I go to the gym because I'm dissatisfied with my body and I want to go to the gym and push my body to fix it. And that has kind of always been my relationship with the gym. And I think that that's problematic, right? I don't feel like working out needs to be punishment. So the reason that I'm like, I don't go to the gym, but I do sometimes do these videos at home, is because the videos at home are more enjoyable for me. And I want to work out in a way that is fun for me. And I would love to get to a point where going to the gym and lifting weights is fun for me, but that's not where I'm at right now. So I choose to find other ways to move my body instead of forcing myself to do something that feels like punishment for me right now. And even at a smaller weight, for me, sometimes the gym does feel like punishment. So I'd rather be home and do like a video learning a TikTok dance or something. And that will increase my heart rate. It's exercise, but I had fun, right? Or going for a walk or playing with my daughter. Me and my daughter play this game where we literally run in circles around the kitchen counter. And I go, tag, I got you. And like, it may just be fun. I'm playing with her, but it's exercise. Like I would more so focus on intentionally moving my body every day. And eventually I'll get to a place where I want to work out in the gym. But right now that's not where I'm at. And I think that's okay because I am still prioritizing my nutrition and I'm still losing weight. Does that answer the question? I think so. All right, next question is, what has been the food you've craved most and what did you do to satisfy the urge? So the food that I've craved the most is, I want to say mac and cheese. And I'm saying mac and cheese and it doesn't even sound right because I'm Caribbean, and if you're from the Caribbean, you know it's macaroni pie. But I'm saying mac and cheese just so we can get a general understanding of what I'm talking about. But that is like an extreme comfort food for me. I love to eat mac and cheese, and it is definitely something that I crave. My husband doesn't really eat it that often. My daughter loves mac and cheese as well. So every now and then, not often, I'll make it for her. And when I make it for her, I have some. Like, the question is asking, how do I satisfy the urge? And the way I satisfy food cravings is by having the food. I just have the food. I don't restrict myself in any way. I restrict the serving size, but that's the sleeve doing that. Like, that's not me. I'll eat a small amount of mac and cheese and then I won't have any more. I'll make sure the rest is given to her. I'll usually cook enough of it to where she has her 2 servings of it, one for today, one for tomorrow. And then I'll save a small amount for myself. And then when it's done, it's done. I don't keep doing it. I don't indulge in it. I just have a little bit of whatever I'm craving. If I'm craving pizza, I'll have some pizza. If I'm craving cookies, I'll have a bite of a cookie. But I'll keep it in a small portion size. That way I'm not overindulging. And I've actually been really good at this and not resorting back to old habits of binging. This is not something that I would recommend doing before 4 months post-op, because you just want to get yourself into a good swing of eating the right things. But once you're at a place where you feel comfortable and feel like you can handle opening yourself up to things like that, I'd say if you have a craving, have it and then move on. I see a lot of people later on in their journey who were really, really rigid for the first year, later on regressing and having regain, because at that point they start allowing themselves to eat things that they weren't eating for the past year. And I think that is what leads to overindulging. Whereas what I'm trying to do is train my brain to have a healthy relationship with food, where for the most part I eat really, really healthy. I prioritize protein. I stay away from sugar. I don't overdo it with carbs. But in the event that I'm craving something or I want something, I simply just have it. I don't want to restrict myself, because then that's how I feel like I will start to go back into unhealthy habits. And the whole point of me getting the surgery wasn't to fall back into the toxic diet culture mindset. I'm trying to just build a better relationship with food. So if I have a craving for something, I have it, and then I move on. I go back to eating what I should be eating, because I also care about my body and want to pour into myself and make sure that you are what you eat. So I want to make sure that I'm eating things that are better for me. But if I feel like having some mac and cheese or a cupcake or a cookie or something, I simply just have it in moderation. All right, next question. Are you still experiencing hair loss? I'm 3 months out and my loss is pretty bad. I'm hoping it will stop soon. All right, so for this one, hair loss is one of the questions that I get a lot. There was a lot of questions like this one. For hair loss, I did experience hair loss. I want to say maybe it started around 3 months and lasted for about a month or two. And when I say lasted for about a month or two, that's not to say that it's completely stopped. Like, every now and then I will notice my hair shedding a little bit, but it's not much more than what it was before. Most of my hair loss from 3 months to like 5 months, when that was happening more extreme, all happened in the edges of my hair. And they're still pretty thin. It's starting to grow back, but slowly. So I'm hoping that that picks up soon. But when I was 3 months to 5 months post-op, it was most noticeable when I washed my hair. In the shower, I'd wash my hair and there would be hair all over the place, and it was crazy, and most of it was falling out in the front, so that meant it was kind of noticeable. And it was really traumatic. Like, I was really sad about it during that time, but it did only last about 2 months. And then now things have stopped or like kind of slowed down, because like I said, sometimes I do comb and still get some hair coming out, but nothing dramatic. And there are different theories about how to prevent this. And I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So kind of pre-prepping yourself before surgery to knowing that that's a possibility would be good. I also think that hair loss comes from being malnourished, and our bodies are not accustomed to eating this little bit of food. So when you shock your system like that, hair loss is a reasonable consequence of that. Similarly to like if you go on the keto diet, hair loss happens with that as well because of the dramatic shift in the way that you're doing things. Because of the dramatic shift in your diet, going into ketosis also causes hair loss. So for me, I expected it to come. I started planning, all right, I'm gonna get some wigs, how I'm gonna get this done. And I actually didn't end up needing to do anything. It just is what it is. I kind of usually put a little bit of mascara on my edges. As funny as that sounds, it does work to make it look a little bit more full. But hair loss has not been too dramatic for me. As far as my hair itself, I still was able to maintain my length and my fullness. So for me, I would say I had minimal hair loss. Next question says, any effects on your cycle, good or bad? For the men, she's talking about my period. So for my changes to my period, good or bad, the changes have been good. So I've said many times I have PCOS. One of the main PCOS symptoms I had was an irregular period. My period would come when it felt like it. Some months I wouldn't get it, some months I get it, and when I got it, sometimes it would last forever. Like the longest I remember, I had my period for 6 months straight, no stopping, no letting up. Nothing would help. Other than that time when I had it for 6 months, it would come for a whole month. It would come for 3 weeks. It would just come for unreasonable amounts of time. And then sometimes it would come not at all. And because of this, I was diagnosed with unexplained infertility because I did not ovulate on a normal schedule because my period was so irregular. Now, after surgery, literally immediately, as soon as my period came back after surgery, it got so regular to the point where I have the Flow app, and the day that Flow says my period's coming, it comes that day every single time. Comes, lasts 4 days without fail, and then is gone, and then comes back again the next month the day it's supposed to come. Now, in part 1 of this series, I mentioned birth control. Because I don't want to get pregnant. I know a lot of you don't want to get pregnant, and this surgery definitely increases fertility. So birth control is something I recommended. However, I have not started taking birth control yet because I'm afraid of it messing up my cycle. But I do have a doctor's appointment coming up in where I'm going to try to figure out a birth control option that isn't going to have too many hormones to where it messes with my cycle. But stay tuned. Next question says, for your liquid diet, do you make broth at home or bought the pre-made ones? Broth, to me, normally very nasty. I tried the canned ones. I tried the bouillon packets. I tried everything store-bought, and I hated all of it. During my liquid phase, the best broth that I did was from ramen restaurants. So that's what I recommend. Going to restaurants that make ramen and asking for just the broth. So none of the noodles in there, just the broth. It is so flavorful that way that it was so good that I would actually have it now that I'm not even on my liquid diet. It was delicious. That, or I would get like Caribbean soup packets. Like if you live in an area where there are a lot of Caribbean people, most likely your supermarket will have the Grace soups. They have a chicken flavored one, a pumpkin flavored one, seafood, like a bunch of different ones. But making those soups and just straining out the noodles, those were my two go-to as far as soups, liquids that I had during that time. I have a video on what I eat in a day on my liquid diet, so you should go check that out if you're curious. But eating broth from ramen restaurants and broth from soup packets were the best for me. I also tried a few times broth from soup packets that weren't like Caribbean ones, like the Lipton soup or like just like Progresso soups, but just taking the noodles out. To me, doing it that way was a lot more flavorful than just getting plain old broth. That, I couldn't do it. All right, next question says, it says, I don't even have a question. I just want to say congratulations. I've been watching you since before VSG a few weeks ago, and you've helped me a lot. And to that, I just want to say thank you. You as in the person who said this, and all of you watching this video. I get a lot of comments like this about how much I've helped people, but like I say all the time, I say this in like every single video, you guys are helping me way more than I could ever help you. So thank you. Next question says, How do you break a stall in the beginning? So I have a video that I posted specifically about how to break stalls. So I'll make sure that that is linked in the description box as well so that you can reference that video. But I'll give just like a small summary on that. The biggest way to break a stall in the beginning, because there are different types of stalls. In the beginning, I'm assuming you might be talking about the 3-week stall. And when it comes to that stall, nothing. Just literally keep doing what you're doing and it will break on its own. In that 3-week stall is literally you gaining back the water weight you lost during the liquid diet while simultaneously losing fat. So you are actually losing weight. The scale just isn't reflecting it because you're gaining the water weight. But remember that the water weight, you need that. Your body needs water. So regaining that water weight is a good thing. It helps you stay healthy. So in the beginning, during the 3-week stall, the best thing I say to do, don't worry about how to break the stall. Instead, hide your scale from yourself for at least a week. And then every week, check in to see if it's moved once you've hit that 3-week stall. But there honestly is nothing. You'll watch videos on people telling you to increase your water, to increase your vitamins, increase your protein, increase this, increase that. All that really ends up doing is causing so much stress if you're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong, when in reality you're not doing anything wrong. Stalls, the 3-week stall just happens because it happens and there's literally nothing you can do about it. So know that you are still losing weight. And this time, lean on those non-scale victories. Don't worry about the scale. I know that that is a lot easier said than done, but I'm telling you, that 3-week stall, there's nothing you can do. You're not doing anything wrong. It is a normal process your body is going through. But if we're talking about a stall that isn't that stall, then you could try things like increasing your water, making sure you're getting your protein in. But even with that, for a lot of stalls after that, same thing applies. Like there isn't much you can do about it. Stalls happen. I want to say since I've started this journey, and I'm only 7 months post-op, but since I've started this journey, I've stalled who knows how many times now, maybe like 15 times in 7 months. And I've come to acknowledge, like accept that that's just a part of the process. I don't weigh myself very often. Maybe once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. Literally hardly ever. I focus on the non-scale victories because those will hurt your heart a lot less. Stalls, if you focus too much on the scale, you will literally have a difficult time on this journey and you will damage yourself mentally stressing out about a number that isn't necessarily the most accurate picture of how much you've lost. Something you can do as soon as you get the surgery, try measuring yourself, collecting your measurements and checking that instead. Because if you're gaining water weight but still losing fat, then your measurements should change. So maybe have that ready for yourself so you have your measurements to look at. So you're not as occupied on the number on the scale. Because trust me, the scale is evil. All right, next question says, what are some fast and easy lunch and breakfast ideas on the go? So on the go, I don't really like to put food in my bag. I like to put snacks in there. So my favorite snacks to eat on the go are like the Wisp cheese cracker things. Like they're Wisp cheese, dried cheese. I don't know what it's called, but the brand is called Wisps, WHISPS, I think. They also have the same thing like Parm Crisps. Trader Joe's has one. There's like moon cheese. Like there's a lot of different variations of that same concept. I love those because, you know, they're shelf stable. You can keep them in your bag for a while. They're not like something that you have to worry about keeping cold. I also like to walk with Power Crunch bars and things like that. But on the go, if I'm outside and I'm hungry and it's morning time, my go-to is always going to be the egg bites from Starbucks. I never can really finish both of them. I usually eat like 1.5. In the beginning, I would have only been able to eat one. I get the bacon and Gruyere. I get those ones. I like to get Popeyes blackened chicken tenders. They're not breaded. Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. If you don't have a Starbucks near you, you can go to McDonald's and get just like the egg and one sausage and maybe eat just like half of that. I know a lot of people do like sandwich in a bowl from like Subway or Jersey Mike's and those places. I haven't tried that yet though. I like to go to Chipotle and get like just the chicken and the veggies and eat that. You can either do it as a salad or just by itself. I usually just do it by itself. Yeah, on the go, I would normally just eat something outside. I wouldn't pack lunch. Trying to think of what else I would eat on the go. Yeah, those pretty much would be my go-tos if I was trying to eat something quick on the go. Yeah. All right, next question says, what are your new cravings versus your before VSG cravings? Before VSG, I had more of a sweet tooth, but I always wanted things like donuts, anything that was birthday cake flavored, things like that. I never liked candy or anything like that, but cakes and donuts, not really cookies. Cakes and donuts and stuff like that I really liked. Now my cravings are usually more salty or chocolate. And the good thing about that is there are snacks that I can eat now that are not bad for me that still fall into those categories. So like if I want something salty, sometimes I'll just have like a few crackers or the cheese chips things. Or if I'm wanting something chocolatey, you know, I already go to my peanut butter fudge power crunch bars. Those always satisfy the chocolate craving. And then if I am craving something like a donut, I just have a donut. I just have one. I don't eat the whole thing. I'll just like take a bite of one, eat half of one, save the rest for the next day, or give the rest to my husband or my daughter. But for the most part, before surgery, I would crave things also like fast food, which I never crave. I never crave things like McDonald's and stuff like that anymore. I definitely crave that before surgery. Before surgery, I really loved eating like soul food, like getting like some candy yams and mac and cheese, and getting like what else? Like more comfort food type things I used to crave a lot before surgery. But now food like that doesn't make me feel good. Like it weighs me down, makes me feel sluggish. Sometimes it might make me feel a little bit sick. So I really don't crave those things anymore. I think the more you start to venture into these foods and see how it makes you feel, you'll start to just be turned off by them simply because of how they make you feel. Anything fried, with the exception of like my nuggets that I like to eat. I like to eat these just bare nuggets. I like those still, but like going to like a restaurant and getting like fried chicken, wouldn't really do it anymore because of how it makes me feel. So yeah, my cravings before would be a lot of fried food, a lot of fast food, a lot of donuts and cakes and things like that. And now I'm more so like salty foods, and less fried food other than chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets is probably the only thing that I eat that is still fried. But usually I make it in my air fryer. But yeah, cravings change because the way food makes you feel change. So that's actually a good thing, because it helps you lean into how food makes you feel and how it affects your body versus just looking at food for comfort. Yeah. All right, next question is, at what month does life feel normal, like before surgery? So this is where I wish I had like the person who asked here to be like, define normal. Like, what exactly do you mean by normal? If we're talking normal as in like eating, we're never going back there. So you're never gonna feel the way you felt before, because as far as eating, because you're never gonna be able to eat the way you used to. Like, even if you manage to stretch your pouch a little bit, or even if you start to have looser restriction, you're never gonna be able to binge eat the way you used to. Or socially just eat like that the way you used to. But it kind of becomes a new normal, to where like you just, as I would try to rephrase this as like, at what point do you feel normal? Not back to normal, because the old version of you and how you ate, how you socialized, everything is going to be completely different. And you kind of get to a new normal where this is just like, it's no longer like, why can't I eat more? It's no longer like that type of feeling, or you're not gonna feel weird about how little you're eating. That, I say, for me, probably just happened. Like, I probably just got to understand really how my body works, and to a point where I literally just automatically go for a smaller amount of food, easily just portion out a smaller amount of food for myself. I don't feel weird eating a smaller amount. It doesn't shock me anymore. Literally for like the whole first 7 months, I was like, it's crazy that I literally ate three spoonfuls and I'm full. But now I've grown to like know that that's what it is, and like it doesn't feel weird to me anymore. But the old you she's gone. Sorry, fellas. They're gone. I'm not gonna say, I know that I have guys that watch me too, and I'm sorry, I be saying sis so much. But yeah, old normal isn't coming back. New normal, I'd say 5, 6, 7 months, around there is when you start to get into a good groove of things and things start to feel better for you. I will say, as far as eating, that's when that happened. As far as like really adjusting to your new body, I don't know when that happens because I haven't got there yet. I still go shopping and pick up 2XL clothing, knowing damn well I wear a medium. Like, and I don't know when that's gonna get better, because now I pick up the size mediums and still get shook at the fact that I'm a medium. And then forget it. When I have to pick up a small, I can't even wrap my head around that still. Even that just coming out of my mouth just now still sounds weird to me. So I would actually love to get to a point where that has become my new normal, because I'm still shook. Next question says, do you ever feel like you weren't going to make it to your goal weight along this journey? Maybe due to a stall. And I like that you added that last part, maybe due to a stall, because whenever I'm stalling, that's the only time that I've ever felt that way. And again, now stalls don't bother me. They still happen. I don't weigh myself often enough to even really notice these days. But in the beginning, when I was weighing myself every single day and I would notice every single stall, I would start to get discouraged. I know when I got to my 3-week stall, the reason I know so much about stalls now is because I did an insane amount of research when I hit that 3-week stall, because I had went down, you know, self-sabotaging mentally mode and started being like, why did I do this surgery? I don't know why I did this. It was a waste of time. I'm not losing weight. I'm never gonna lose weight, and did all of that. I want to say I don't think I ever did that again after that stall. But that was because I made sure to educate myself so much on stalls after that, so I would never put myself in that type of mental state again, because I went down bad. I think if you go back, I didn't even want to film my update that week when I realized I stalled. I had told you guys that I had cried. I had been crying because of it. And it was really, really hard for me to wrap my head around, because I had just literally went under the knife to lose weight, and now I wasn't losing weight. So I had literally spiraled that first time, and I did think that I would never hit my goal. But then after that, I learned that stalls are literally just part of the process. They don't bother me. I know that I'm going to reach my goals. I'm really close to my goal weight right now. And yeah, I know that this is how the process works. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Like, it's going to take time. It is a process. It's not... We didn't get surgery to wake up and just be skinny. So I knew it was going to take time. But I will say that I did spiral out that first stall, that 3-week stall. And I did at that point think I would never reach my goal. But it did not last very long, that mental thought process. Next question says, now that you're a few months out from surgery, are you able to drink more water? I'm a big water drinker, so I want to know if that ability goes back to normal. This I know is very different depending on people. I know people who are a year out and are still struggling with water intake. Luckily for me, after about 2 weeks, I did not struggle with water intake anymore. I did struggle for the first 2 weeks, but after that, I don't know what happened. I can't give you a reason as to why. But for me, I can drink water exactly the same as I did before. I have, this is my water bottle. It's always with me. I have this everywhere I go. And this water bottle, it's a 32 ounce, I believe. I fill this up multiple times throughout the day. I can chug it like I did before surgery. Drinking a lot of water does not bother me. I have zero issues with that. I can drink water, I can drink coffee, I can drink anything in large quantities as long as it's not too sweet. If it's too sweet, I'll start to feel a little bit sick, or my stomach might fill up more with sweeter drinks. But water, sugar-free juices, all of that stuff, I can drink as much as I need to, as long as I'm not drinking it and eating. If I try to drink water and eat, all hell breaks loose. I get really, really bad pains in my stomach. But as far as just drinking water, or any liquid for that matter on its own, I'm good. Like, so if your process is anything like mine, I mean, your journey is anything like mine, then hopefully you also will have no problems with that. But like I said, I do know people that have struggled with the water for a longer time. Like, one person comes to mind who's over a year post-op and she's still struggling with her water intake. So it goes person by person. No two journeys are ever going to be the same. If you do end up having problems with your water intake, just try having your water bottle with you throughout the day and take baby sips throughout the day. That'll help you over time hit your water goals, opposed to chugging the way that I'm able to. But you might find yourself able to drink water. So it's There's no one answer. There's no one size fit all here when it comes to water intake. But as far as my journey, no, I haven't had any problems other than for the first 2 weeks with water intake, luckily. I'm very grateful for that because I know that that is not the case for everybody. Next question says, how do you stop cravings in the beginning? And I'll say in the beginning, I honestly didn't really have cravings. No, that's a lie. I didn't have cravings, but there were times in the beginning where I would see food that I wanted, especially during the liquid phase. I really wanted to eat something. Like, I wasn't hungry, but I would see food and be like, oh my God, I really want to eat some of that. In the beginning, it's just one of those things where you just kind of got to be strong, especially when you're on the liquid diet. You're still healing. You cannot push your body past its limits because you can pop a stitch. So in the beginning, it was just kind of like, you got to do what you got to do. After the liquid diet, once you're in the pureed soft food stage or in the first couple months, I don't recommend doing my, eat whatever you want in moderation thing until you're after like 4 months and up. In the beginning, it's about finding new ways to eat the things that you love. So maybe if you're craving chicken nuggets, have some grilled chicken nuggets or grilled chicken. If you're craving chocolate, have a chocolate protein shake. Like, find ways like that in the beginning to get to your cravings. Once you get into a good swing of things and you're getting a healthier relationship with food, then the way I would say to satisfy your cravings is by just having a little bit of the thing you're craving and moving on. The important thing is to build a relationship with food where you don't feel the need to binge on things and you're okay just tasting a little bit of it. But like I said, I don't recommend that in the first 4 months. In the first 4 months, you're still a recovering food addict and you need to focus on getting the right foods in and learning how to eat again before you start introducing those bad foods so you could set yourself up for success. So in the beginning, I would say find alternatives that still work for you, and then later on, then start to just allow yourself to have a little bit of whatever you're craving and not to binge. But if the first time you do that, you notice you're binging, then maybe you're not ready for that. And then don't do the everything in moderation thing until you're at a place where you mentally can handle not binge eating after. And more importantly, not self-sabotaging and like punishing yourself for having something bad. Like, we're allowed to eat different things. No food is bad for you in moderation. But that comes with a level of, I don't know what word I'm looking for. It comes with time. Like, you'll learn to get a good relationship with food, but in the beginning, treat yourself like a rehab patient. You're still rehabilitating. You shouldn't be going to bars, as in restaurants with unhealthy food and things like that in the beginning. So definitely in the beginning, satisfy your craving. You're craving something sweet, have a protein shake. You're craving something sweet, have some sugar-free pudding, things like that, alternatives. And then you can slowly start to introduce having whatever you want in moderation as you get further out, making sure that you're always sticking within your serving sizes and always prioritizing getting your protein in for the day before you even do anything like that. Next question is, suffering from heartburn. I was sleeved in Turkey on May 1st. So heartburn is not something that I can speak to because I personally did not deal with this. I know that it is something very, very common. My doctor had suggested that I take, I think, what was it? Was it Pepsid? I think Pepsid might have been what they suggested for heartburn, but I never ended up actually having heartburn. So once again, this is one of those questions where I'm going to lean on the community for this one. If you suffered with heartburn with your VSG, can you please go into the comment section and leave some tips for this person? I don't want to give tips on anything that I did not personally experience because that would not be me giving you my honest feedback on that. So I did not suffer with heartburn, but I know a lot of you did because a lot of you have mentioned it to me. So if you're one of those people, please go to the comment section and leave some advice about how to deal with heartburn after VSG. Next question says, did your shoe size change with weight loss? And this one, no, my shoe size did not change with weight loss. However, my feet's shape did. So now my feet are more narrow, so I can wear more narrow shoes than I could before. Before, my feet were more wide, so it restricted the type of shoes that I could wear. But now my feet are very, very narrow and fit into pretty much any shoe. But my shoe size, I wear a size 9 shoe, and that's been consistent. It hasn't changed. The first time I lost weight not on my own back when I was younger, my shoe size did go down a full size. So I'm not sure why they didn't go down on any sizes this time, but I'm happy with my feet just being narrower. It makes all of my shoes more comfortable. I can walk in heels. I can wear any shoe I want to. So I'm grateful for the more narrow, slender feet. But no, my shoes did not go down a shoe size. All right, next question is, how do you stop the constipation? And this person put one of those like type of emojis, and I get it. I 100% get it. If you've been watching my videos, you know that for like my first 5 updates, I complained about constipation. This is something that I recently shook. I don't deal with constipation anymore. I'm regular again. And I think the number one thing that happened that caused that shift was me introducing coffee back into my life as a regular thing that I drink. I drink coffee almost every day. Between drinking normal coffee, I always use sugar-free creamers and sweeteners, but coffee that doesn't have protein in it, and drinking my protein coffee, regardless of how I drink it, I always drink coffee. Before that, I was relieving my constipation with tea. So that's, I either did the ballerina tea or the smooth move tea. Both of those worked really well. They would allow me to have a bowel movement, but I wouldn't consider that fixing constipation because I would use the bathroom, but then I would need to drink it again to use the bathroom again. I was only using the bathroom if I drank one of the teas, which is fine because it relieves it, but it doesn't solve the bigger problem. Like the bigger problem is you want to use the bathroom on your own without doing anything to start it. And now I do. In the beginning, I was also trying to take like Dulcolax and stool softeners and things like that. None of that was working for me. The tea was the only thing that would produce a bowel movement for me, but it was still only when I drank that. Now, without doing anything, I go, definitely gonna go if I had coffee. If I didn't have coffee, even still, I can go now. I think there's multiple things in play here. One, coffee does help with that. But also, I eat more foods that have fiber in it now. I do eat more carbs now than I used to eat before. And increasing your fiber does help. So if you don't eat a lot of foods rich in fiber, I'd recommend adding fiber supplements. Like they have like the powders you can add to your water to increase fiber. Things like that I think will help you with constipation. Next question is, what is your body skincare routine? The best lotions, creams for skin elasticity. For this, again, I have a video all about my loose skin. In that video, I give you a rundown of all the products that I'm using on my body. So definitely click that link. I should be able to put that in the description box as well. But I like to use, the big thing I do for my body is exfoliate. I exfoliate almost every single day, every other day. If you have a gentle exfoliator, you can do that. If you have an exfoliator that's more harsh on the skin, maybe doing it twice a week would be fine if you use that. I also use an in-shower moisturizer, and then outside of the shower, I use body butters and oils and things like that. I add as much moisture to my skin as humanly possible. That's going to help it not crack, which is going to cause your skin to be damaged. You want your skin to be as healthy as possible. Moisture helps with that. I'm also going to be doing an entire video showing you my skincare routine. So I don't want to talk too much about it now because I want you to watch that video. But yeah, exfoliating and moisturizing as much as possible. For the exact products I use, definitely go back and watch that video because I have them all linked in there and I show you all of them right up close. So that's going to be where you get the best information about that. There are, of course, other products you can use other than the ones that I use, but you can use the ones I use as a guide on how to buy products. You want something to exfoliate, something to moisturize before you get out of the shower, something to moisturize outside of the shower, and I like to use an oil to seal it all in. Yeah. My favorite oil is it's from Amazon. I don't remember what it's called. Like I said, it's linked in that other video. It's also linked in my Amazon storefront. All right, next question is, have you ever plateaued? And I feel like this question might be asking about stalls, because a plateau would be like you stayed here consistently. And I haven't had surgery long enough to really plateau. A plateau would be like a stop. Like you stopped, you're not losing weight anymore, which I know tends to happen after you hit a year out and further on. But I haven't got there yet, so no, I haven't plateaued. If you're asking if I've stalled, yeah, maybe like 15 times at this point or more. I'm always stalling. It doesn't bother me like it used to, like I said before. But yeah, definitely stall all the time. I'm only 7 months post-op, so I know that a stall at this point does not mean I'm done losing weight. I know I'm gonna at least continue losing weight until I reach a year out. And I know after a year that it does slow down a little bit. So I'm not worried about any of the stalls that I have right now. But yeah, I definitely stall all the time, and the scale is evil. So if you stay away from the scale, you will not allow yourself to be stressed out by stalls. But yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this. The whole point of this Q&A series was to celebrate me reaching the milestone of 10,000 subscribers, which I would not have been able to do if it wasn't for all of your support. So I just want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here to support me. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for commenting on my videos, sharing my videos, liking my videos. All of that has helped me reach my goals on this channel. I've mentioned many times that I do have a goal of being able to become a full-time content creator and be able to make this type of content for you full-time. I'll be able to produce a lot more. Growing on this channel gets me a step closer to that goal. So thank you for supporting me the way you have done. Outside of my goals as a content creator, your support has helped me through this journey. I've mentioned so many times that I don't have the most support in my real life. I don't have that many people around me cheering me on, and you guys have made me feel so good and been such a support system and have cheered me on throughout this journey and made me feel seen and heard and loved. And I just, like, I could cry. Like, that's how, like, I'm trying to, like, keep myself together. But honestly, I don't know how I could have done this without you guys. People always ask me if I regret sharing so much of my journey online, and absolutely not. 1000%, I'm so happy that I decided to pick that camera up the day of my surgery and document this journey, for me to be able to look back on it, but also to be able to help guide so many people through their journeys. I'm so grateful that I made that decision. And every single day, a day does not go by without me thinking about how happy I am that I decided to pick that camera up that day. Because I never mentioned this, but the day of my surgery day vlog, I almost didn't do it. I almost didn't film that surgery day vlog, and then I would not be where I am right now. I wouldn't have all of you in this community that I've built here on this channel. And yeah. But yeah, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.
Where in the world is Karen San Diego? From BK to Belly, it's anywhere she say so. She changing your life, can see it straight through her eyes.